Hi, everybody. So the thing that I want to talk about today, is actually this thesis and outline planner assignment. So one of the things I wanted to show you was that I updated it a little bit. I included some instructions in red to help you figure out exactly what you're doing. So I want to walk you through what those things mean. When you look through this, one of your assignments is to look through this actual assignment details, and you can see that there are linked articles in here to help you out with your thesis statement. So I do recommend that you read those. So the Unit 3 Summary and Response and Outline Planner, if you open it up, it is going to have some writing in red on it. And that writing is going to, let me just maximize this. There we go. This writing is going to kind of explain some steps that you can take and have some advice. So, when you read those articles that I just mentioned, one of them is about help, my thesis is changing. That is probably going to walk you through the idea of what to do when you write sort of a working thesis and it changes after you see what you've written. I actually recommend something. I feel like a lot of writing teachers recommend this, that I recommend that you write your thesis statement last, that the very last thing you do is write your thesis statement, because what your thesis statement is going to essentially do is sum up all of the feelings that you have based on these main points of your paper. So I want to talk a little bit about response writing. What that you are writing right here, this thesis outline planner, it is your response. So, you are going to take the article that you found at the end of Unit 2, the article on your own topic. You proposed a topic on the topic proposal board, and you found an article, and you also, in the course of that worksheet, let's see if I can pull that worksheet up. I think it's this one. Yes. This worksheet that you filled out may look familiar. One of your tasks right here was to write a summary of the article. That's the summary you're going to use. You're going to be responding to this article, this first article that you found on the database on your topic. That's what you're going to respond to. That's the heart of the response. So with that article, the first thing you're going to do is summarize it, and the next thing you're going to do is respond to it. Anytime any teacher asks you to read a text or read a chapter or read an article or watch a video, watch a movie, and write a paper about it, what they're looking for is a summary response. This is a really common genre of writing, although teachers don't always call it that. There are different names for it. But essentially, when anybody asks you to watch something and react to it, or read something and react to it, it's a summary response. So summary response paper is going to first summarize the article or the text or the movie, whatever the artifact is that you're responding to. In this case, it's going to be your article that you found on your own from the worksheet that I just included. And you already wrote a summary. So you can see right here that your first piece of advice is to paste the summary in after revising. So if I gave you advice with little comments and things, make sure that you're following that, and then you're going to paste it into this worksheet. And after that, you're going to make sure that you have all of these elements that I've included as questions. So once you've pasted it in, double check to make sure that you have rhetorical information, the title, the author, the publication year, and the first sentence. Make sure it's a complete sentence. Make sure the whole thing is a complete paragraph and not just a sentence. And make sure there are attributive tags throughout so we know that this is not your writing, but the original author's. So after you've created this strong summary of the article, then you're going to respond to it. So whenever I tell people to approach a response paper, I usually ask them to just come up with a list of 4 things they want to say about the article. I have helped you a little bit further by giving you some questions to respond to. So to find your 4 main points, write an answer about the article you summarized for 4 of the questions questions to respond to list in the learning materials folder for Unit 3. Your answers are then going to become your main points. So if you look, I've got a million things open, I know. If you look, it's in the learning materials folder. It's also linked right here, or it will be. I'm working on your announcement right now because I'm posting this video in here, I realize. It'll be in the announcement. And it is also linked right here in Unit 3. the Unit 3 learning materials, this questions to respond to. And you open it, and there's just 5 questions. So you have to figure out, you have to answer 4 of them. So you could probably come up with some more questions, but for the sake of simplification, I'm going to recommend that you pick 4 of these 5 questions and answer them about your article. So let's say we're dealing with my example of the COVID, the one that I annotated about COVID mandates, vaccination mandates in healthcare in New York. So what I would do is I would think about an idea from the article that I agreed with. So I would look, or if I agreed with the entire article, I could do that too. In this case, I'm going to look for a particular idea from the article that I agreed with, and I'm going to say, okay, I agreed with the idea in the article that mandatory vaccination was a good way to protect elderly people in nursing homes. Okay, so I pick out that idea and I agree with it. And then what I'm going to do, my answer there is then going to become my first point. You can see that I asked you to answer 4 of these. And then over here in this handy dandy worksheet, I have 4 places to put main points. For the examples, details, explanations, those are reasons why I believe what I do. And there's a couple questions like, are you responding to these details positively or negatively? And how will you use your second source in this paragraph? So the second source is the second one that you found. How are you going to incorporate that to either support you or to sort of agree with one article over the other? For your second main point, you're going to put right there another answer to one of the questions. Third main point, another answer to one of those questions. Fourth main point, another answer to one of those questions, and then the conclusion. And then from that, you can kind of see how you feel. So for you guys on Wednesday, or probably Thursday, considering how my Wednesday is shaping up to go, I am going to post for you a sample of this filled out so you get an idea. And I'll probably make another video so you can watch me go through the process of the sample. But for right now, what I want you to focus on is getting your summary in here and then coming up with your 4 main points, which are just responses to the article. Make sure you're responding to the article itself, not to the topic. So for instance, I wouldn't say, I think that COVID mandates are a great idea. So the main focus that you kind of want to go for to get started on this is just coming up with 4 things you want to say in response to the article. And like I was saying, not the topic. So I wouldn't want to just say, well, I disagree with COVID mandates, because if the article doesn't actually say whether it agrees or disagrees, then I'm not responding to the article. Think about this as a conversation with the article. What are some things you thought were done well? What do you think could be done better? Those are the kinds of questions you want to get into with the response. With a response, you can also talk about personal stuff. So, and you are talking about your opinion. So expect to see I in the body of the paper. The first person, I. I think that. I agree with. I disagree with. I dislike this. I thought this could be better. This reminded me of my own personal experience, so it really worked for me. Those are ways that you can respond, and you should be using first person in the body of your paper, not in the summary, but in the body of your paper. So those are some things to get you started thinking about this. The very first thing that I want you to really do is come up with these 4 main points: first main point, second main point, third main point, fourth main point, by answering 4 of those questions you choose yourself from the questions to respond to.